the most interesting thing I saw was that, Orlando Bloom decided to get off the plane and go kiss Kim. But I mean, of course she's going to be receptive. Who has she not received in this life, I ask you? Other than that, there's just nothing to report. Except for the fact that Lauren Sanchez was so busy organizing a foam party on a yacht that she forgot to get a hairstylist. Can we talk about this rat's nest? And the dress. Good. I just don't feel like she looks as good as she thinks she does. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Ladies and gentlemen. Hello, how are you? Welcome to my channel. My name is Dear Denise. We have so much to talk about today, but before I do that, I need to announce our next book. I've been planning on announcing this on Sunday, but last night I was scrolling the news and Anna Wintour has stepped down from Vogue, which means that we have to read the Anna Wintour book by Jerry Oppenheimer. Now, I already had it and I was planning on reading it this year, but I was going to do Yes Ma'am first, except for the publishing companies just can't seem to get it right. Every single time I think a book's going to come out and I pre-order it, then I get a message that's like, yeah, that's going to be 3 months from now. We're good, right? No, because I paid for it to come on the 29th and now you're telling me some kind of October date? Get the hell out of here. I think they already have this book out in England, so I need to find some British friend who will send it to me. But anyway, that means we need to read the Anna Wintour book because we don't have Yes Ma'am. But it's like God smiling on me, as he so often does. And he's like, that's okay. I have plans in the work. You don't want to do the Anna Wintour book. And so I was going to have to move that up. And lo and behold, on the heels of this news. So I have to tell you, as I always am with a Jerry Oppenheimer book, shocked beyond anything I can comprehend. I can't believe how much dirt he's able to dig up on these people. And I had somebody say in the comments one time, actually, it was recently when I announced that I was going to do this book, it'd be really nice if these books weren't so old and we actually had some relevant news. But see, why would we? Because all the things that are going on with these people right now are things that we know about and remember. I mean, I'm sure there's some stories that we don't know, but it's all this stuff about their childhood, all the leading up to their big claim to fame that we don't know. What kind of dirt were these people into in order to grub for the fame that we know they now have? That's the interesting part. And that is what Jerry Oppenheimer always brings. So this book was published in 2005, but I find that even though it's 20 years old, maybe I just am losing my mind, but 2005 just doesn't seem that long ago to me. It just doesn't. I don't feel like it's been 20 years, so I know we'll really enjoy it. And then, of course, hopefully, the book about Prince Andrew will not also have some kind of ridiculous date. I've talked to the author and he says that he thinks that we'll be able to get the book out at the same time that we originally thought. Like there's no 2050 date, even though that's what, say, Amazon is saying right now. So if the author has high hopes for us, I think we can believe him. But for right now, we're going to read the Anna Wintour book and then just cross our fingers about the Prince Andrew book. Okay, let's get on with our regular schedule, shall we? Because it is Friday. And boy, do we have some things to talk about. Okay, at the top of the hour, I just want to say to you that it being June, we have been flooded with all sorts of people who are wanting to talk about their sexuality, as is our June want in this country. One of the people came out and wanted to pretend that it was like 2020, 2021, and thought that we would all really care about his personal preferences was Sam Smith. Now, you all know Sam Smith. Sam Smith is the one who dressed up like the devil and danced around and basically had an orgy on stage and let us all know what he's up to. But he came out and he told all of us that he is identifying at this time as a, xenosexual. What might that be, you say? Oh, he has a definition. He said that a xenosexual cannot be understood by the human brain. Well, how do you know if you are one then? But anyway. He says most of the time we are attracted to non-human entities, but not necessarily aliens. You either get it or you don't. Well, Sam, I think I do get it. I think what you're saying is that you want to be with a demon. And you can join your compatriot, Dylan Mulvaney, because I did not talk about this at the time, although I thought about it. It's all beginning to make so much sense now. 3 months ago, Dylan had a friend on the podcast, and they decided to tell us about their forays into getting their palms read. Now, Dylan wants you to know that the only psychics that Dylan traffics in are Kardashian level psychics. So this was really a far bridge to go to this street psychic. But, it felt like the thing to do because the sign outside the building said, if I can't help you, no one can. And how do you ignore a sign like that? They go in, they pay their $60. Dylan sits down and the psychic begins to read Dylan's palm. And Dylan finds out that the reason no dates are being had is because a demon is coming to visit Dylan at night. And the demon is having its way with Dylan. And that's why there's just no good night's sleep to be had at Dylan's house. A what?
I love a psychic. I regularly go once a year to like kind of like Kardashian level psychic. But this was also at 9:30 p.m.
Yeah.
So we call and then we hear her talking through the window and she's like, "What time do you want to come?" And we're like, "Now." And she said, "Great, come on." So we then knock on her door. She opens up in her bathrobe. So we're in the psychic. I go first. Now, I paid for the $60 palm reading, which I assumed would take 5 minutes. Went on a little longer because she looks at me. She like reads my palm. She goes, "Oh, you're single." And I was like, "Yeah." And she goes, this is very early on in the session, mind you. She goes, "You're single because you have a demon that comes and has sex with you every night. And that's why you're so tired when you wake up. And that demon is getting in the way of any relationship that you could have outside of you and that demon."
And then Dylan and the friend go on to discuss, well, what do you think about this? How would you feel about this? Is this something that we would want to be doing? And neither of them seem as appalled as they ought to be.
So I'm a little nervous about that. Would you want a sex demon? Be honest.
No.
Why not?
I don't want to have sex with a demon. Well,
fair.
I don't know.
I'll take whatever I can
I wouldn't
get.
want to have unconsensual sex with a demon every night.
Yeah, I want to know.
If I'm going to have sex with a demon, that's a choice I've made.
Thank you. Okay.
So maybe they need to go talk to Sam Smith because it sounds like he knows exactly what's happening here and that there's a name for this. And that maybe Dylan's real problem is that Dylan is a xenosexual and is attracted to non-human entities. You guys, what kind of a world are we living in? Like, really and seriously, the debauchery and the dishevelment of the human mind is beyond anything that I thought I'd be living through. I did not think that when I was a child, that I would grow up to live in a world in which people were talking about how they were actively engaging in sexual intercourse with non-human entities, but also how others were engaging it without their consent, but were finding out about it from a psychic that they happened to bump into after Little Italian. You guys, really? Seriously? Okay. I feel like human relationships are hard enough. Why are we wanting to delve into relationships with demons? Okay. Speaking of people who are having a real rough time of it when it comes to the human relationships, let's talk about Jessica Simpson. Jessica Simpson is a person who I feel a great deal of pity for because I just feel like she is struggling pretty considerably in her romantic life and has been for her whole life. Do you guys, obviously you guys remember Jessica Simpson from back in the day when she was on that Newlyweds show. That show is so painful to watch. It was painful in its day. Now I go back and I watch it and I'm like, there needed to have been an intervention. Somebody should have like broke up and into that house and been like, this is an abusive relationship. We need to stop this right now. I'm constantly watching clips from that show. They just like come up. And I'm always flabbergasted that everyone acted like this was a normal relationship. No, granted, if anybody could see into anybody's house, you would see people having spats and arguments and, you know, being unkind to each other from time to time in ways that we wouldn't want out there for public consumption. So I'm not acting like, well, I'm in a perfect relationship and I just can't understand. I mean, we've all had those fights. We've all had those disagreements. We've all exchanged words that later we look back and we're like, oh, that was kind of not who I want to be in this relationship. So any of us who had cameras on us 24/7 in an atmosphere in which it was truly a reality show, like these people are not acting, and you can tell. There's such a difference between the show Newlyweds and say like a show in its early stages like Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Because Keeping Up with the Kardashians had so many created storylines, so many conversations that were like rehashed for the effect of the cameras. But this Newlyweds show was like the real deal. And these two were fighting constantly. And when I watch clips of this show, like I feel anxious, like I've just been in a fight. Watch this.
I mean, you're just so stubborn. Like, you have to do everything.
Oh, yeah, I'm the only one that's stubborn here in the room. You have to even move yourself in here and put holes all in our wall. We're gonna have to, like, re-wall our house. There's, like, gashes from where you moved the stuff in. It's coming out of your mouth. You don't even know what you say. Re-wall our house?
I don't know.
What the hell is that?
I don't know.
Brat. I'm not a brat.
You're a spoiled brat.
So what if I'm spoiled?
You're a spoiled brat.
But I'm not a brat. I am not. I'm a nice girl.
You're a bratty girl.
I treat you very nice. I hate you right now.
Good, go away, leave me alone.
I am away. I'm always away.
Oh, boo frickin' you know what? Sob. Like I'm not doing the same you are.
You're not doing half of what I'm doing, baby.
Oh, now we're into this now, huh?
So this is the sort of situation that Jessica has been used to. Well, you know, she and Nick didn't work out, so she got married again. They had 3 kids. But then, of course, that didn't work out, and she got really heavy, and she became an alcoholic. But then she got sober and got on Ozempic. So she was supposed to be having life-changing situations. Also, as we know, she had just come out with a new album. So in some respects, her life is falling apart on one side, but she's got her music again, right? Well, not really, because not even the snake sperm she was drinking can help her.
You gotta drink snake sperm.
Jessica Simpson's music career will probably not ever take off. But I feel worse for her about her desperation when it comes to men than I do about the fact that her musical career is not taking off. The story that I keep seeing about her is how she keeps trying to throw herself at people who are not interested in her. Specifically, Jeremy Renner. Now, 3 months ago, it was reported that she was all up in his social media, that she was liking all of his posts, and that he had had a really terrible accident on New Year's Day that almost killed him. And then a couple of months later, he was in recovery and he was posting a gym video and he was doing this workout and she puts a fire emoji and he liked it out of kindness. These two had been linked in 2009 as having had a relationship. So then people were like, oh, is something happening? Now, of course, in 2009, he denied it. But she, I guess, either is living for a past time when they were together, or she's hoping to spark something with him since their names were linked at one point anyway. Then another time she commented on another one of his Instagram posts, and he did say publicly, congratulations on your new album, but that is about the extent of it. He's being nice to her because they know each other, but he is definitely not returning her very aggressive and public desperation for him. But I feel bad for her because Jessica Simpson is probably a really nice person. She didn't come across as a really terrible, mean, difficult person on Newlyweds. I mean, she could be a little bit whiny and ditzy, but not a mean-hearted person. And I feel bad for her because it just doesn't seem like she has a whole lot of luck with men. But I don't know why she's still doing this, some of these kinds of immature tactics. Liking every single one of somebody's posts on social media is kind of embarrassing. Every single one? I mean, do you even have any friends in your entire life that you would like all of their posts? Every single time they post something, you like it? I mean, I've seen this story coming up over and over and over again about how Jeremy is snubbing Jessica, and isn't that embarrassing for her? And I'm telling you, coming off of a divorce and then trying to have a music career and then watching that just fizzle out, and then everyone's like, what happened to your face? Because really and truly, when you look back who she was in the Newlyweds days and then you look at her face now, obviously she's going to look older, but she looks chopped up in the face. The plastic surgery was not a good option. Wherever she had that work done, she should have not. And so then you got everybody commenting on your face, and then you've got everybody saying that your music isn't good, and everyone's laughing at you because you're over there guzzling snake sperm, just crossing your fingers hoping that'll work. And then you have everyone being like, look how she's going after Jeremy. Also, if Jeremy Renner is turning you down, ugh. Because I'm going to be honest with you, how many people are sliding into his DMs? He's one of those actors that you're like, I guess you must have known somebody or something. I guess he's okay. I can really only think of a few things I've ever seen him in. And I wasn't blown away by the performance. So I don't know. I'm just like, Jessica, if Jeremy's turning you down, I mean, go lick your wounds and try again, but maybe not using these methods. Speaking of actors, can we talk about Brad Pitt for a second? You guys, I hadn't thought about Brad Pitt in years, mostly because I hadn't seen him around much. I feel like everywhere I turn around, I'm like, Brad Pitt is in my face. And I think it's because he has a new movie out this summer. Something about racing. Okay, well, That man was on Armchair Experts with Dax Shepard, who I just love. But can we just talk about how annoying Monica is? Can we get rid of Monica? What is Monica doing? Seriously, you guys just... I don't understand why they keep trying to make Monica happen. Dax, and Kristen love Monica. And I keep trying to figure out, but why? Because I don't feel like she has a personality that I'm just loving, and everything she says in the interview is annoying to me. Now, I don't know if it's just because she was blown away by the star presence sitting across the room from her, and so she was like extra especially into everything he was saying in an obnoxious way. But
I get this gig. I'm about. I know you're already inflating what happened. I'm an extra in this movie. It's a restaurant scene, and I am the waiter. I'm supposed to bring up champagne and pour champagne.
Okay.
They show me how to do it. You got to pour. You spin. You wipe the thing. I said,
That's
great.
more than an extra.
I come in. Well, it was a chosen extra. I was chosen. I got put forward.
Oh my god!
And the whole
I tell you that this interview was so hard to watch because of Monica, but not because of Brad. And I have never really seen Brad Pitt in a situation in which he's just talking and carrying on a conversation. And I have to say, my childhood crush was like reignited for Brad Pitt. He is so charming, can I just say? Anyway, in the course of this conversation, he was talking about how he had begun going to AA, and that's really where he met Dax, because Dax goes to AA, and Dax is like an old timer over there, and he kind of runs the show over there. And so Brad Pitt was talking about his experience.
You know, I was in pretty, I was pretty much on my back.
Yeah.
You know, on my knees. And I was really open to, I was trying anything and everyone. Anything anyone threw at me. It was a particular difficult time. I needed rebooting. I needed to wake up in some areas. And it just meant a lot to me. So, yeah, the first is, oh my God, it's coming around. You know, it's coming around. It's getting closer. It's going to be yours.
Yeah.
But everyone was so open.
It's contagious, right?
It is. It gives you permission in a way to go, okay, I'm going to step out on this edge and see what happens. And then I really, I just really grew to love it. And now it's a quest to, what do I do with this? What, how can I write this and make sure it doesn't happen again? Or I just
be better.
Yeah, be better. Be better.
Yeah.
Step up. And so I was really open to that. And I was really open to see what these guys were doing who had their thing and been there for a while. Sure, I was a bit shy. I can generally be a bit shy in any kind of situation first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just remember getting my arms around it pretty quickly and really, it became a thing for me. It was really like something I'd look forward to.
Yeah. And I do want everyone in the world to know, like, you're insanely gracious. You learned everyone's name. You engage with people. I almost thought you were particularly good at assessing who was kind of low status, and you seem to really be kind to those people. There was a thing going, and I really respected it.
It was really moving. I mean, some of these men were so moving.
I thought it was charming. I thought he was very charming because he seemed so normal. He didn't seem like he was real taken with his own fame, but neither did he seem to feel insecure about his fame. He didn't seem to feel like he had no like imposter syndrome kind of need to sit there and like wrestle with like his fame and did he deserve it. Like he's like, no, I worked hard for everything I have, and so that's good. It was kind of refreshing to see somebody from his generation talking, because he's from a generation that didn't get too worked up about their emotions, but he also isn't a person who denies his emotions or feels like he needs to pretend to be hard all the time. He's okay being vulnerable. He just doesn't work himself up into vulnerable states in order to feel like he's had a breakthrough. So I really like that about him. But I'll tell you what doesn't make me like Brad Pitt a lot. What's going on with his wardrobe these days? What? You guys, I don't know who the guy on the couch for the Armchair Experts interview was and who this guy is. Are you multiple people in one body? I feel like the guy who sat on the couch and was so comfortable with himself is not the same guy wearing these shiny pants. Or dating this girl. Now, why am I so offended by this girl? Is it just that I don't believe it? Or like what? Why did they not feel like a couple? Is it because we just haven't seen him with a woman in so long that we're just like, oh, interesting that that's who you picked? But I just don't find it believable. Although when I think back to him and Angelina Jolie, I don't know if I found that believable at the time either. And they went on to have like 1,000 kids. So I guess I just don't have a judge for what his type is. I just find this relationship strange. And everybody keeps talking about how they're not real. Like this relationship, like he's not into it, that it's crumbling. But then I read other things where the woman is saying, I made sure that I didn't come out with Brad until I was really sure our relationship was serious because I didn't want it to interfere badly with my jewelry business. I'm not really sure what that means. I think she didn't want to be seen as like just the girl of the moment. Like I'm not just the flavor of the week, I'm the real deal. So I don't need to come out and hang on his arm every second. I'll come out when I feel like I'm ready. Okay. But does any of us believe this relationship? Look at this. Does this person seem like they're enjoying interacting with this woman? I don't know, but is she the one to blame for these outfits? Because I've never seen him dressed like this before. And I don't like it. I need some more of that GQ stuff. That's what I need, okay? I don't want these huge shirts and these baggy pants and this shiny material. Ouch fest. Okay. Speaking of other people who are having real hard times, it's just the struggle bus today when it comes to relationships. Remember last Friday when I said Orlando Bloom and Katy Perry are not long for this world? I mean, truly, am I a prophet? Because they split up. And didn't we know they would? But the confirmation has come about. They really are no longer together. Now, they have been a little off and on over the years. It's like she's worn an engagement ring for like 7 years. And it's always those couples that you're like, why didn't you guys just be honest with yourselves? But anyway, she and he have officially split. Reports are coming out that she's described herself as single for months, except, we just didn't know it. But I'm like, well, we did. But anyway, officially, they're over. And Orlando Bloom crowned the moment by kissing Kim Kardashian when he saw her at the wedding for Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez. This is a star-studded event, you guys. It's all anybody could talk about all week. And I just have to ask you this much right now. Is there an amount of money that just makes people lame again? It's like a cycle. Okay, this is what I think it is when it comes to money. It's very cyclical because when you have nothing, you might act in ways that are kind of just trashy, right? Then you start to get some money. And you start acting in ways that you believe people with money would act, right? So these are the people who are trying super hard to show off with their possessions, women who are getting work done and worrying really a lot about designer labels and making sure that they have money, right? Then we come around to the people who legitimately have money and have stopped being amazed by it and are very comfortable with their status. And these are the people that are really nice to be around because they don't need to brag to you or show off to you or make you notice they have money. They just do, and you know it, but it's not their personality. Then we cycle back around to trashy behavior. And I feel like Jeff Bezos is the rich that's gotten trashy again. What is the deal with the foam yacht party? You can do anything with your billions of dollars, Jeff Bezos, and you decide to host a 3-day event that kicks off with a foam party that looks like something out of the pits of hell. This looks like something that would have happened on the poop cruise, okay? I need to know why in the world we went this way. This non-elegant weirdness. I guess when you just have as much money as you want, you just do whatever. Like, who cares? But this is what I'm saying. It all comes back to trashy. If you don't have money, you act like that. If you have more money than God, you act like that. You know who I want to be? I want to be the person on this side who has so much money, I just know it, but I don't need you to know it. That's who I would like to be. Anyway, that's not going to happen in this lifetime. But the Jeff Bezos wedding, I could not be less interested in, even though they continue to try to push this story on me. Time and time again. I just didn't care. Star-studded event. Look who's all coming. Of course, it's all the Kardashians. Who cares? It's just like all these people that you just are like, I don't care. The most interesting thing I saw was that, Orlando Bloom decided to get off the plane and go kiss Kim. But, I mean, of course she's going to be receptive. Who has she not received in this life, I ask you? And other than that, there's just nothing to report. Except for the fact that Lauren Sanchez was so busy organizing a foam party on a yacht that she forgot to get a hairstylist. Can we talk about this rat's nest? And the dress. Good. I just don't feel like she looks as good as she thinks she does. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Oh, speaking about Orlando Bloom's kiss with Kim Kardashian, what is the deal with these celebrities just kissing each other and we're just supposed to not notice or think that it's weird? I need to talk to you guys about Scarlett Johansson. What is going on with her lately, I ask you? Now, in the past on this channel, we have given a massive pass to her and all her behavior and really not questioned her at all because we were talking about her in conjunction with Ryan Reynolds. And when you're talking about Ryan Reynolds, how can anybody think about anybody else except for him and his wild ways? And I said that, Scarlett Johansson's marriage was wrecked because Ryan Reynolds was insecure and he cheated on her with Blake Lively and then ran off into the sunset with her. And I really didn't consider or discuss why Scarlett Johansson might have been difficult to be married to. Now, she has been married 3 times. So, of course, when you see somebody who's been married 3 times in fairly quick succession in the young life, it's like, what's going on there? Let's do ask some questions about what's going on there because it looks like she might be ending her 3rd marriage, if you ask me. Scarlett Johansson is married to this joker from SNL. He told a joke recently on SNL that was real raunchy. I'm not against humor that's edgy. I'm not. It just felt kind of like a little bit sacrilegious to tell a joke like this about your own wife. That just seemed kind of crossing a line.
Costco has removed the roast beef sandwich from its menu, but I ain't tripping. I've been eating roast beef every night since my wife had the kid.
So it made me feel like, are you guys okay? I didn't question it considerably. I just thought, I wonder how that's going to play out in their life now. Well, fast forward to this latest premiere that Scarlett's been at for the Jurassic Park movie. And she is just loving some of that co-star. And she goes up to him and kisses him in a way that is not, I feel like, strictly friendly. There was so much chemistry with him. Just as she even stood next to him having her picture taken. She greeted him with this kiss. She's standing next to him. They are just loving being in each other's presence, basking in the glow of their affection. Then, in the same premiere, we get her standing next to her husband, who, as one person put it, has the face of an American Girl doll. And I'm telling you, icy vibes. We were just given a great example of what love and affection looks like. And then she goes and stands with her husband and we get this. I mean, clock's ticking on this relationship. I'm telling you this much right now. Who at a public event, unless they wanted to stir up trouble and controversy and just let their spouse know I'm over it with you, would greet their coworker like this and then take pictures with their husband that look like this? Where's the love, you guys? So keep an eye on that relationship. Speaking about people who are having a real hard time with their family, Prince Harry was again in the news. Shockingly, he still seems to think that he has a chance with his dad and with his brother. And every time I turn around, William's in the news, and he seems like he lays down the law. I would not go against King William. I have to tell you that guy has aged like fine wine. I know I talk about it a lot, but I just feel like we don't talk enough about it. Of course, when he was young, he was, the young heartthrob prince. And then, I feel like he was looking a ways, where everyone kept being like, he was so good looking. And it was a heavy emphasis on the word was. You guys, it is now a present tense is. Happy birthday to this man, by the way. He had his birthday recently, 43, I believe. And I'm telling you, men just get better with age. They just do. Ladies, can't we just agree? What is this world that these men live in? Just aging like fine wine, I tell you. I need to know why it is that men get to just look better and better with age. But we're over here just working like dogs to keep our youth. Gosh, it's so hard being a woman. Anyway, Prince William is not having it with his brother. I mean, he's just not. Like, he's not even going to entertain Harry and his skanky wife. But Harry still thinks that he can go back. And can you imagine how devastated you would be if you had left the hallowed halls of royalty to come and be in a state that is literally burning down, and riots and crazy behavior? Like, he goes through the fires for recently. Obviously, didn't touch his house, but, they're walking the streets. California's burning down. Now there's riots and California is now burning down. And it's just like, wow, is this place ever not on fire? And can you imagine the way you would just sit there and think, I'm married to Meghan, I can never go home, and my state is burning down? It looking bleak. And so he decided to extend invitations to his dad and his brother, just hoping to find a way home. And he's asked them if they would care to attend the 2027 Invictus Games. Imagine, he's having to ask these people 2 years in advance, just begging to be able to be slip into their social calendar. His dad's notoriously busy. Also, that collides with Camilla's 80th birthday, so I feel like it's already going to be a hard no. But he sent an email and formal invitations to follow. Does he just like hurting himself? Why doesn't he just run his tongue down a knife? Because I feel like everything he does is so obviously not going to work, and yet he seems so confused by what the outcome will be. Good luck, Harry. Finally, let's talk about something that I've neglected to discuss only because it seemed kind of sad, but it keeps popping up, and there's probably some of you guys who do want to talk about it. You guys know that Amberell, the celebrity chef, has passed away. But there's a lot of question about what happened when she passed away. Her husband found her in the shower, and she apparently, at that time, had had a heart attack. That's what people thought. But then upon closer inspection to the scene, there was lots of pills everywhere, and there was lots of fear that this was a self-induced situation. Now there's all these people coming out saying that she was really unhappy and that she had always felt like she wasn't good enough, that her looks weren't good enough, and that she was too different from the other chefs on the network, and that there was just a pervading sadness in her life, and that she'd really been struggling for a long time. And so some of her close friends have stated that they don't think this was a natural death. And that's really sad. And it makes me really sad to think that somebody who could have so much and who was really loved, I mean, people liked Amberell, that they didn't know that about themselves, and that they got caught in feelings of sadness and just this sense that they hadn't earned a right to be there. And that just keeps coming up. It came up last week when Meghan Markle was asking, do you have imposter syndrome? And even today we were saying that Brad Pitt had been sort of asked if he had imposter syndrome on the Armchair Expert podcast, and he said he didn't. And I wish more people who were in places of fame and in places with influence would stop this sense of feeling like I shouldn't be here. Well, you should be, because you are. So you don't need to sit there and feel like, something's wrong with me and I shouldn't be here, and there's other people who are better than me who should be. But they're not. You are. You don't have to feel bad about that. But it's a sad story. But I still don't feel like we know enough really to discuss it in depth, because it feels like it's a lot of speculation and a lot of friends coming out being like, well, we knew she wasn't happy. And I'm like, why don't you shut the hell up? Because if you're her friend, just let her be. You don't need to make hay with the sunshines and get your little 2 cents in the paper. Maybe just let your friend lie in peace. The world is a really hard and scary place. Obviously, at the top of this episode, we discussed that pretty in depth. But you don't need to be having sex with a demon to know that the world is hard. And it's a rough place. And that's why I'm really glad that we have this channel, and we can just sort of hang out together and just not have to feel for a little bit about all the chaos. There's just so many news stories out there that are just so chaotic and difficult, and it makes it feel like the world's just a really terrible place. But it isn't when you have people that you enjoy, and I enjoy all of y'all so much. Thank you guys so much for all your comments and things like that. Now, I would just like to say before I leave that on Sunday, tune in. We are going to read the preface of the Anna Wintour book, and it's juicy. And so just sort of get us excited for Monday, when we will start our first episode. And then on this channel, we'll do the thing that we've been doing when we're reading a book. We'll read the book during the week of Friday. We'll do our Friday news roundup. and maybe something else in there if I can fit it in, but that'll just be our rhythm for the next couple of weeks. Thank you guys so much for letting me indulge my interest in trying a few other things for the channel. And also, I just kind of needed a break from books for a minute. So thank you all who generously let me indulge that. All right, I'll see you guys later. See you on Sunday. I hope you tune in for the preface of the latest book. And I'm really excited about reading that one with you. Talk to you soon. Bye.